Hey my friends, this is Bill McDonald, the writing doctor, and for this video I want to show you how to use my train graphic organizer, which is the scoring guide version. Uh, it allows you to color code each idea, reason, example, and ending. I gave this paper a 2 and a 2 minus for a total of a 4. They were supposed to write about one invention. So before I show you the essay, I want to show you how I broke it down in terms of a visual for the student. Alright? There were two pretty cool hooks that you're going to hear about in the comments and feedback section. Here's Doc. It's sort of like my quick check scoring guide, but it allows me a little bit more space to give feedback in each area specifically. And for those of you that are not experienced with the scoring guide, the red part kind of gives you an example of what things you can talk about in each section of development and organization for revising and conventions for editing. Okay? The student chose phones as his or her central idea. The first reason was to call people, but it had no support. There were no examples, nothing at all. Alarms, reason 2. So you can check the time, reason 3. And you can look at Google, reason 4. The words blue, green, orange, and purple are written there so that if you were to color code, even if you were to print this graphic organizer that's on page 507 in my binder in black and white, the students could underline with a crayon or a colored pencil each of these ideas and see that what they're doing here is making a list. Since the essay continues, there's not another central idea, it just kind of continues. Reason number 5 is apps, and they do give at least an example of Netflix, a calculator, and games, but expository is not exampletory. None of those examples were explained. So again, what we're seeing here is we're a list of reasons and a list of examples, none of which are explained. And then instead of really closing and talking about phones, the student talks about new inventions. So here's my feedback. Delighted and awesome. Nice use of emotions and opinions as your hook. Your call people reason has no support. Use why, what, when, where, I should have put who there, how, and which. You did the same thing with alarms, time, and Google. Organization. Your use of useful tools coming out instead of the prompt words was a great example of choosing your words carefully. Your apps reason has 3 examples, but none of them are explained. Okay? On the conventions, I usually just write cups, and I went ahead and wrote on the essay, you can see here I wrote line numbers. So if I want to make a specific reference to something, all you have to do is look at the line number I use, and they can fix the error. The main mistake of the student is spelling, but on line 12 they used Y-O-U-R instead of U-R contraction. The words that were misspelled by the students were these, and you can see the line number, so I'll briefly say them. Awesome, starters, alarms, search, everybody was separated. Netflix, because, watch, type, calculator, answers, fun is off limits, so I crossed it off. Pieces, happy, crossed off limits, evolve, future, and time machine. So the spelling was kind of weak by the student because you would expect him or her to be able to spell most of those things. So let me close by just showing you the essay and how I was able to get all that feedback separated. Do you ever feel delighted when a new tool comes out? Of Question about the prompt, but using different words instead of a new invention. There are a lot of helpful tools, repetition, in the world that look awesome. Run on. Capital. For Stater, tools are meant to help us out every day. Period. Capital. We use phones to call people when we need to. So I don't know if I would recommend waiting until line 5 in the body to mention your central idea. It might be better to mention it in the first paragraph. And since you're going to start with an introduction, you might want to indent it, even though they can't penalize you for not doing that. Some people, I would suggest that after periods, you put a little bit more space than that. Even punctuation needs its space, its boundaries. Some people need alarms to know when to do something, and some people, repetition. US, their phones to check, period, what time it is, period. Capital. People all over the world. US, Google, needs to be capitalized, to search for information you want. Okay? Since people is third person, you would need to change you to they. Capital. In addition, everybody that has a phone that has a phone apps on it, period, with no space again. One app, capital I like is capital Netflix, because you get to watch any type of moves, period, no space. Another app I like is the calculator, because when you're doing your homework to check your answers, I like games because you have to have fun and because your room. All in all, I feel happy when new inventions come out, and I hope invention will evolve in the future. I hope one day I will build a time machine so we could go back to the past. Nothing about phones there. Sorry for the interruption. I'm in my hotel and housekeeping came. But anyway, you got the idea. Let me know if you have any questions. God bless.